Okay, let's start with an introduction to the flipped classroom. Now, obviously, you can find a lot of information about flipped classrooms on the web, in video formats or articles and so on. But what we try to do is to summarize some of those things into one lecture here. Now, the way this lecture is going to work is that we have certain learning objectives here that understand why you want to flip your class. Now, it's not an easy decision to do because it's going to take a lot of time for you to think about how to flip your class, and it's going to be very personal to you. And so also, as you go through this lecture, this video lecture is going to be paused at specific places to conduct active reading assignments or responses on Salon. And in fact, you're watching this video on Salon right now, and you'll be responding in two specific questions that are raised, so that we will make sure that this lecture is kind of chunked into small pieces. We may do a short quiz on the flip learning at the end, and then at the end of this activity one, you'll write a summary report as a document or video and upload to Classroom Salon for other people to share with other people. So those are the goals of this lecture and this activity, and so let's start. So why you want to flip a classroom? Now, we have seen this before, the Bloom's Taxonomy, where we spend a lot of time trying to remember things, trying to understand things, and little time on creation, evaluation, and analysis. The goal of a flipped classroom is to really flip this triangle. So that means students have a lot of choices these days to really go to the web and find a lot of interesting things from the web. So essentially they can find, they can go to Google or YouTube or find information, and they can even watch those things and understand them. And so it seems like there's no reason for us to really spend a lot of time in the classroom delivering lectures and sort of like this one-to-many kind of mode. So we could rethink the classroom based on the technology tools that are available to us today. It wasn't possible before. Now, obviously, you want to make sure that your students have access to technology, otherwise you won't be able to flip your classroom. But if they do, then you can allow them to go to the web and watch the videos and read the documents, and then you can spend a lot of times on this side of things in the class. So you can have this in the classroom, such as application of the knowledge, so you can show more examples of those concepts, and you can analyze them, you can create things. That would be a good way to do it. So if you rethink the Bloom's Taxonomy, you will have a lot of time for creativity and evaluation and analysis and applying, and then leave some stuff to the for students to find out from the web, and they may spend an hour at home doing this, but the idea would be to allow them to watch your videos or watch a video from the web or read a document and create this understanding before they come to class, so you can spend more time on this side in class or out of class. So at this point, we give you a very brief introduction to sort of what a flipped classroom is. So what I would like you to do is to pause the video. You will find this a little question mark icon, and just click on that. In fact, first pause the video, this video that I'm doing, and then click on this and respond to the question number 1.1. Okay, so now you're able to respond to the question 1.1. If you didn't, please do that, and then let's go through the rest of the lecture. And so what is a flipped classroom? And so we will try to define a flipped classroom, which is a flipped classroom is really a model of learning which has existed for a while now, that rearranges how the time is spent in and out of classroom. So the simplest definition would be that the students will be doing your lectures at home, and then doing homework in class. Usually it's the other way. You do lectures in class and homework at home, but now you want to do more application of the knowledge in class so that students have a chance to discuss them with you. And then some of the things that you deliver to the students in class now can be done out of class, such as they can read a book individually or as a group, or watch your video lectures. And in class, when they come to class, it's much more about the discussion about what kind of things they are having trouble with. So flipped classroom is a model that can rearrange how you spend time. Now this is a very personal decision, so you have to decide how you want to do this. So essentially we say that we transfer the ownership from teacher to the student. So we put the students much more in charge about their learning. So they will be they are the ones who are motivated to go to the web, find content, or you give them content, or you point them to the right content. So your role as a teacher is to really guide them and put the ownership of learning back to the student. So you're responsible for making sure the student is following the syllabus and doing the things that they're supposed to be doing, but your job is not to just deliver content and test the student. The students must play an active role in the participation of the discussion, the content discovery, and the learning, and all of those things. Now, how do we do that? So how do you flip a classroom? So like I said before, there's no one model of flipping a class. So you can think of flipping a class as complete video lectures at home and only the homework in class. Or you can say some lecture at home, some lecture in class, some homework in class, and some homework at home. So that sort of thing. So you can really decide how you want to structure it, but no matter what, you just have to think about that, before you flip your classroom. So you will discover over time, though, so this is going to be an investment on your side to really invest your time and effort into changing the way you do your classroom, or where you're teaching. So over time, we hope that you will understand what works for your students and what works for your teaching style, and then you will try to figure out exactly how to deliver your flipped classroom. So it's not, you can learn from other people, but I think you really have to do it yourself to really know what's going to work for you and your students. But it's also very important that you're willing to adopt and change quickly, because you do expect the students to adapt and change quickly because of the world we live in. So you have to be able to practice the same thing. But we believe that the flipping is a great model for students, because I think it just takes the sort of this boring lecture homework format out of the teaching and learning, and then sort of divide the class time and homework time at the time they spend at home into different activities. So things that you can do very well with the video can be done with the video, and you can learn a lot of concepts by watching a video and responding to it. And then when you come to class, you have more time to show more examples, or show how to solve problems, or help students. And so you can do a lot of different ways of, you can do a lot of different things to flip your classroom. So at this point, I would like you to pause this video and click on the icon again and respond to the question 1.2. Okay, so now that you were able to respond to the question 1.2, and if you didn't, please pause the video and go click on the question mark and respond to that question as part of your sort of active learning that you're doing with Classroom Salon. And now let's talk about some of the benefits of flipped learning. So what are the essentially the benefits of a flipped classroom? So let's think about that. What are the benefits? Now the main benefit is that the class time, which is at a premium, is reserved for more interaction between the student and the teacher, and problem solving. I think that's really the important part of learning. Students learn by doing, not by listening to a lecture. So let them do the lecture listening someplace else, but while you're in class, while they have access to you in class, you try to do more interactive exercises with them or more problem solving work with them. So at least when they're trying to do your work and try to apply this knowledge that they learn at home, then you're around, and the other students are there to help them if they get stuck. So the passive lectures, now lectures for the most part are passive. Now some of the teachers are very good at giving class lectures. We're not asking you to really get rid of the class lectures. I don't think it's necessary, but we're asking you to rethink your class lectures. Because if your class lectures are very boring, passive activities, if you don't have a lot of student participation in the class, now perhaps it can be done outside of the class. Now, even if you're a great lecturer, I think it's still good for you to think about flipping your classroom, because you can keep some of the class time for more personal one-on-one or group interaction with your students, so you get to know them well, and plus you get to know what they're doing with your content. You will know whether they understand what you're trying to teach them or not. Now, obviously, you can give these class lectures in video and other forms. So we want to record these lectures. So we want to find these lectures from the YouTube, and there are many resources that you can go to flip your classroom, and you can grab those lectures or find those documents and allow them to really engage with the content before coming to class. Now, so the main benefit that I see is that when students need you, that's when they are trying to apply the work, apply the knowledge. So you are there in class helping them work through the problems. So that's a great thing to have. Students will feel much better, much more comfortable doing their homework, because they know they can ask someone immediately if they get stuck. Now, because the most difficult time of acquiring new knowledge is the application. So if you allow them to really understand things out of class, maybe get them to do a thing or two through your lecture, because you can insert questions to specific parts of lecture, and then you can really spend a lot of time doing applications in class. So the more benefits of a flipped classroom, the students can watch the videos and read material at their own pace. That means that you can rewind the video. So if you miss something, if you miss a point, you can go back and watch it until they understand, and maybe they respond to a question you have inserted into the video. And we will talk about those things in Unit 2, how to insert questions into the videos. And then students can mark places in the video or readings prior to the class, which is very, very important, because if you know before class that what the students know and what the students don't know, then it's really easy for you to have an abbreviated lecture in class, maybe 15-20 minutes of lecture class time, to clarify some of the concepts that they have trouble understanding. And you will know that through Classroom Salon as one of the tools that we will learn in Unit number 2. Now, they can also find others in the class who may have the same problem. Again, Classroom Salon is going to show you exactly who is having problems where, and it also exposes all the things to everyone. Now, clearly, if you like to be anonymous, you can do that through Classroom Salon. You can have an anonymous comment, but the goal is that not only you get to watch the video and annotate, but you also get to see what the others have said. So benefits of a flipped classroom are very clear. Now, the classroom also can be personalized, because at this point it's very important to personalize the education, because maybe the flipped classroom is the model that allows us to personalize education to each individual student. And so what that means is that we would know more about our students because we have more time to understand what they're doing with our content. So we may be able to help them more, and we may be able to personalize the education for these students. So because in a flipped classroom, the analytics that we will talk about in Unit 3 of this course can point to students who are way ahead of other students, like who are the top 25% students. What sort of analytics can point to those students? Who are the middle 50% students? The students who are doing fine. I mean, these students will do fine even if you don't flip your classroom, because they are going to be just learning enough to pass your course. But you still don't know whether they really understand all the material that you want them to understand. But there's also a group of students who are struggling, the lower 25%. So the analytics can point us to those groups. So if we can at least get an idea about these three groups that you have, and then you can tailor instructions to each of the groups. Now, so if you take struggling students, for example, now it's really an ideal place to find struggling students, because the analytics that you collect will show you not only that they are having trouble, they are trying to understand what your content means, and you will know that through Classroom Salon Analytics. So by looking at the analytics, you will find the students who are having trouble because they're asking a lot of questions, or their questions don't make sense, and you'll be able to get this information very, very quickly. You may know that they are not really motivated, or they have a lack of prior knowledge. So our goal is to show you and teach you the tools that will allow you to find this information quickly for your own content that you have. So you have to still come up with a way to re-engage them in your class. Now, take those struggling students who would definitely fail your class or have a lot of trouble. You got to figure out how to re-engage them in your class. So find the kind of activities that you want to do in class. The top students are going to do fine even without you. For the top students, the flipped classroom is still an ideal place so if you have advanced students, so you can allow them to move at their own pace. Now, obviously, when you create a flipped classroom in the beginning, you may not be able to do this because you may not have all the material ready for them to move ahead of the other students. But you can assign them other things like creative work. So maybe you can assign them work that they can do because they have already done the things that they are supposed to be doing. Or you can assign them to help the other students, or even ask them to create their own classroom material. And we know of teachers who have done that, that asking the students to create videos or find videos to explain the concepts in different ways than the instructor can do, and then share those resources with the other students. So our goal is to show you tools and techniques that can allow you to do these things without having too much of an overhead. Now, hopefully over time, you will learn how to make it more efficient for you, so you can spend more time doing creative things, fun things, less time doing the routine, the same lecture every semester kind of thing. So at this point, you can pause the video and go to question number 1.3 and respond to that.